Hello, film world. I am the Patrick, your host of Tomorrow Comes Movies, the podcast that spoiler talks movies. Thank you so much for tuning in to the premiere of the first episode, which technically isn't the first episode of this podcast. This is a reboot of the show. Now, before I get started, let me share some things if you've previously listened or you're a new time or a first time listener. Tomorrow Comes Movies will not have a permanent co-host. I'll be having a rotation of different people coming on as guest co-hosts. I've learned my lesson never to work with Geminis, though my first guest is a Gemini. Stay tuned for that. So I already have assembled a roster of people to come on, and they are all movie fans to varying degrees. But to my Twitter mutuals, if any of you actually cared enough to listen, and I appreciate if you did, if you're interested in coming on to the show where we talk movies, this whole podcast basically, the new format, I should have mentioned this earlier, but the new format will be just reviewing a specific movie. If you listen to Tomorrow Comes Movies, previously we talked about other things. That's not coming back. We're just going to strictly talk movies and a specific movie. So if you want to join the conversation, you want to come on, you're always welcome to if I haven't reached out yet. And the only difference with this version of the show is that we will be doing video on top of audio. So it'll be on YouTube, you'll be able to see us. And if you listen to the podcast, obviously you'll be able to hear us. But I know some people are not comfortable being on camera. If you want to come onto the show and talk movies, you're welcome to. But if you're not comfortable being on camera, when you reach out or if I reached out to you, let me know and we will only release the audio versions. With that said in mind, when we record, just to give you a heads up, it will be recording video and audio, and it helps with being able to see you when I talk to you, and it makes the conversation a lot more fluid. But I'm going to reiterate, when it comes to final release, that video will not see the light of the day if you're not comfortable. And I have a few guests who are not comfortable being on camera, but they want to come onto the show. So that about wraps up what's changing with Tomorrow Comes Movies. So that should give new and old listeners kind of an idea where we're going. And of course, the one thing that's also staying, I will be your main host. So in order to go forward, we have to go backwards for Tomorrow Comes Movies. And what does that mean exactly? Well, let's introduce my first guest co-host of the show. Who is it? Well, the original co-host of Tomorrow Comes Movies. Please welcome Ray Ray.
Yo, what's going on?
Ray and I have been friends for almost 18 years. In Memorial
we met
Day,
in 08.
yeah, we worked. I'm about to age myself here. We worked at a movie theater. And how did we meet? Do you remember this?
At Ultrastar. We I kept calling you, slugger, buddy, hey kid. And then I found out that you were, actually like 38 years old and way older than I was. And then I was like, oh, my bad, my man. And then that's when you were like, hey, you like American Gangster? And I was like, yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. Because at the time, that's what I wanted to be when I grew up, was a famous drug dealer making lots of money. And then that didn't work out. But that's how we connected, was through American Gangster.
That's a running gag that I was super older than you guys, and I'm really only a year older. Yeah, nobody else got that quote, which was strange to me
My
because that
man.
was like one of the biggest movies of 2007. And yeah, from there we definitely hit it off. We're very different, by the way. You're more blunt and honest. You don't give a fuck. I'm a little bit reserved until I'm with you, and then
You're more careful.
right. Yeah, a lot more.
You know how to read the room properly. I don't.
Yes, because when you would say jokes, I would be like, "That's just Ray being Ray." It's just so funny because that's your name on there. But I just noticed that. Yeah, but that would people would be like, "What's up with that guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, he's really funny. You just have to get to know him." But he doesn't care. But he does care. But when he tells you a joke, yeah, he's not gonna. There's no filter. But yeah, we worked at a movie theater. Yeah. For how
Yeah,
long
and
did you
that's
last?
May, June, I lasted 3 months. I got let go, I think a couple weeks before The Dark Knight came out.
Yeah. This was back, yeah, so he just basically told you this was back in 2008. We've been friends for almost 18 years this Memorial weekend. Yeah, you didn't last long, and I lasted for 8 years, and sometimes I wish I got fired like you. Actually, I don't wanna get fired, but I wish I
No,
left,
it's not
because
good
there
when you
wasn't
get
much.
fired. You can't put that on your resume.
That's funny because I've never been fired. That's why I'm constantly worried I'm gonna get fired from a job, where you were
That's
like, "I don't care, I'm getting fired left and right."
You're just better than me at everything.
No, I just want to state that when he gets fired from the 2 jobs I know for sure he got fired from when we were younger, it's always some technicality that you got fired or something that you didn't do, but they think you did.
Let me see. I've been fired, I wanna say 4 or 5 times in my life. It's not really a big accomplishment, but, I will say Ultrastar, I got fired for the one thing I didn't do. They could have
Yeah,
fired me plenty of times for, eating candy and pretzels in the back, but the one time that they said I did something I didn't do. They said I was drinking slushies, which is stealing, obviously, because I wasn't paying for them, but the slushy machine was not working, and I got a cup of a slushy to show. Because do you remember Mike? Bad Teeth Mike, Bad Breath?
mhm,
He a
yes.
he he asked me for a slushie, and I was like, "Hey," because I used to give people food. I felt bad, I was like, "Hey,
Mm.
man, you hungry? This is on me. Like, here's a pretzel."
On Ultrastar, but yeah, it's
On
on me.
AutoStar. It's on me. So, he asked me for a slushie, and I was like, "Hey, my machine's not working," and I poured him a cup, and I'm like, "See? It's just liquid." So I dumped it out, and I put it in the trash. Well, the lead at the time, remember Tim?
Yes, I worked with him a lot, and I hated him.
Yeah, he overheard him asking me for a slushie, and so he told management that I gave him a slushie when I really didn't. They went through my trash can and they found the cup with, the red liquid in there, and that's how I got fired because I was stealing, and I didn't do it. I was just showing him that, "Hey, my slushie machine's not working," but, you know,
I wasn't working that day, right?
I don't remember. I don't think you were.
Because you know what I would have done? I would have told you to give me that cup. I would have went back and said, "Hey, do you need your trash changed?" Because I
Yeah,
was very into this trash changing business, and I would have just threw that cup away, and you would never have gotten in trouble.
I know. That's But it also, I think up to that point, there was another manager by the name of, Steven. He was, like, one of the best managers there. He was, he was
This is why you're an acquired taste.
he he I remember the girl I was working with, her name was Alicia, I wanna say, right? She's the one who went
I
to
thought
college. Alicia? Yeah. I had to close down the concession stand by myself. And then Steven comes up to me and goes, "Hey, you're not done yet?" And I was like, "Huh, why don't you put on an apron and come back and help me?" And that was the beginning of the end. And then they found that cup in my trash, and I was downhill from there.
that's not the first time you said something like that. I remember we worked one time. I think I was an usher and you were in concessions, and we were waiting to be when you worked in concessions, you had to be checked out. The manager had to go in there and inspect the back of the concessions and the front, make sure you clean the poppers, everything was done. And this guy, let me tell you about Ray. This is why I always was like, Ray's cool because I would never do this.
Yeah.
He's sleeping because they would take forever to check us out. It was like, hey, we're ready to go. Nobody would just walk over immediately and do this. They would take their sweet time because they had to count the cash and made us wait and then complained if we stayed there too long for over. They were worried about overtime. But one time, manager Ray came in and he's like, are you guys ready to be checked out? And Ray's sleeping on the bag of kernels, and he gets up. Yeah, we're waiting for you so we can get checked out. And I'm just like, and I
I was
remember
ready
Ray,
to go home, man.
he gave you a death stare, but he let it go. And he's like, okay, let's see if you really did. And then there was nothing for him to use against you that it wasn't clean. And
It
he's
was
like, all
clean.
right. I'm not happy that you said that.
Because they're up there. They're complaining that we're working too many hours, by the way. We're getting a lot of overtime. They're up there counting their little cash. It takes 6-7 managers to count $200 apparently. And then so I'm chilling on the kernels and I'm, kind of doze off. And then he comes down here. He's like, what are you guys doing? You guys waiting? I'm like, I'm waiting on you, dog. Let's go. Like, I'm fucking tired. It's like midnight, bro. I'm fucking tired.
I gotta go. We're gonna go to my house and talk for another 4 hours.
I know.
That was time before then. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, I looked at you and I was like, "Whoa!" So you were on thin ice because you were a good worker. They always told me Ray's a good worker, but he got a mouth, and I was just like, "Yeah."
It was hard to keep my mouth shut, especially if I see something that I don't like. And all the managers there I did not like, and they didn't like me either.
Well, that theater was ran like a high school. It was ridiculous. It was very
That's why it was so much
unprofessional.
fun.
It was like cliques, their favorites. Do you remember how much we were making an hour?
No.
I think we were making $7.15 an
Really?
hour.
That's more than I
Yeah.
thought.
Or maybe 7.05. And they were expecting us to do a lot of work. Well, let me tell you, a lot of people got fired, but I didn't. I survived. I became a supervisor. But the best part about this is for the first, because Ray was let go in July 2008, right? You said?
Yep.
Ever since then, for about, 2 years, you would randomly grab an application and apply. Yeah, and he applied, and when manager Ray gave me my position as a supervisor, you came to visit and you brought an application. As I think you were joking, but you brought it anyway. And you said to Ray, I hope I hope you look this over. I really love to work at this theater, as if you didn't work there before. And
Well,
Ray takes the application and he's laughing. Right? I don't know if I told you this. He called me into the office. I thought something was serious, because I was the usher supervisor. I thought maybe there was a mess or something. He goes, come to the office, Patrick. I come in. I was like, what's up, Ray? He goes, sit down. He goes, look at your friend Ray's application. Look at where it says why we should hire you.
I remember this.
And I look down and I'm like, okay. And it says, and I can't even make this up, everyone deserves a second chance. We were laughing for 20 minutes.
They do. And you know what he did, right? He called me.
Oh, no, did he really?
He called me and left a message. He goes,
that's right.
He's like, hey, I got your application. And he said something and he hung up on me. He just hung up. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was there. I forgot that he did call you back. But he told me, he threw it away. But he told me, he said, because I don't know if you knew this, but him and I were really close, and I would work with him late at night to do certain, like cleaning up. We had to clean the theater. We had to clean gum. I don't even know why managers were doing this. We had a cleaning crew. He said to me, he goes, if I ran this theater, I would have given Ray a second chance. But he goes, I'm the second highest boss. And he goes, Alex, the the general manager, he goes, he hates Ray with a passion because he doesn't tolerate attitude, But the manager that you had an issue with, I had an issue with in the beginning before him and I were cool. And then he stabbed me in the back and gave another person the manager position. That was the end of it for me a couple years later. But yeah, that theater had a big impact. on us, you know, like The Dark Knight opened my eyes to movies. Like I love movies, but I took a break because you know when you're because you know you had just graduated high school. I was a year older than you, and I
You
didn't know
were
what the fuck I was
you
doing.
graduated 5 years earlier.
That's hilarious. There's a running gag at this
Mm.
with my own close friends that one of them didn't even know how old I was, and I would always tell him I was like, "I'm only a year older than you." And then he did a podcast with you, and he's like, "Yeah, Patrick was like was like my brother's age," and I was like, "What?" He knew everything about me. And I'm like, "How did you not know how old I was?" Because he didn't remember. But yeah, we ran with two other guys in the crew that we met through the theater, and then we met one guy in this crew who was just. I'm not gonna say his name. He's absolutely ridiculous. And that really sparked Ray and I, who would just we love movies. We go to the movies all the time. You know, we'd use our free passes. I think they made us wait a week though to watch anything, right?
Yeah, it was a week, and you guys had to get me in for free because I wasn't working there, but
Yeah, after a while I had to, and then I stopped going there and paid for my own movies. But yeah, at a different theater because I hated the theater I worked at, which is strange. That I was there for 8 years. But during 2009, you and I were like, let's write movies and let's make one about us and the other two guys, with one of them being the main focus. And man, there were people excited about it because if you knew the guy that we were going to write this movie about, he was absolutely, I mean,
his his whole life story is a comedy.
yeah. And like in the vein of like Knocked Up and Superbad, because he would just say outrageous lies to look cool.
But I
And I
think
was,
he actually believed it.
that's something you and I debate all the time. Did he really believe it, or was it just him trying to impress us? And I think he was trying to impress us, and you think he believed it, which makes me think that he should be committed if he believed any of that stuff he told us. But
He needs to go
we
see a doctor.
Yeah, but we never made the movie. It was gonna, you know, we were gonna make two movies about us. One was about him, and then the second would have been us as main characters, because we would have been supporting. And so nothing happened. So in 2017, I was like, everyone, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm like, let's get Ray on this podcast. So I reached out because we've had our ups and downs through these years. We would go in this thing called Jedi mode, where at some point one of us would leave the group for brief moments or longer periods and not talk to anybody or hang
It
out
was
or do nothing.
it was always you. You always left.
I love how he says that. Okay, it's true though. I will back it up that I did it more than anything because I was actually most of the Jedi mode was because for everybody always revolved around a relationship or a girl. Like we would be like, all right, we're not gonna hang out with our friends anymore. We found a girl. We have no business. And but we reunited in 2017. We did an episode. You know, I said let's do this podcast. I pitched it to him. We did the first episode, and what happened, Ray?
I mentioned Ryan Reynolds, and you just went off on me. You started cussing me out. I wish we still had that recording.
I have to see if I still have it, but I when I pitched the podcast to Ray,
I
go
love
ahead.
Ryan Reynolds.
He's saying that I'm not that big of
I
a
love
rival.
him.
I'm just let me explain why he's doing all this nonsense. Was I had pitched the podcast, let's review movies and television, let's talk about news and rumors. And then during that, I decided why don't we try to expand into media opportunities? Because I was looking at other podcasts that had done it. So this guy, like I said, no filter. You've heard him say some crazy things already. There's one that I'm just like, whoa, why did you say that? I'll tell you what you said. I was like, wait, why did you say that? But Ray mentions Ryan Reynolds, and he's not clearly not a fan. Don't be fooled by that. And I stopped the recording. I was like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, what if we ever meet this guy?" Which Ray was like, "Are we meeting Ryan Reynolds? Are we ever gonna meet this guy?" You know. And
I was getting
after two,
ready to get my memorabilia out so you can sign it. I thought we had a meetings, already scheduled the way he was talking about him. And he basically said, I said I'm not a fan of Ryan Reynolds. He does stupid movies. And the Patrick over here shuts off the recording and goes, "Dog, you say that again, you're off the pod." And I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, "Okay, my bad."
I love how you portray me as like this authoritative, with authority, like you're off. I was just like, "Hey, yo, what are you doing? Don't do that." Because what if we ever meet him? Which Ray gave me so much. crap, like, oh yeah, because he's gonna listen to this podcast and be like, I want to work with these two guys who never wrote a movie, you know. And so you only lasted. I thought it was two, but you told me it ended up being three. There was a
3.
transition. That's right,
Yeah.
because I think we did the third episode, and then my ex girlfriend or my girlfriend at the time would come on,
S
and you did too, right?
so we did the 3rd episode at my house, or at my mom's house, and when we got there, you didn't talk to me at all. The only time you talked to me was when we were recording. You didn't even look at me, and then once we finished that amazing episode, it was amazing. It was one of the best episodes we've ever done. And you were like, "Hey, my best friend in the whole wide world, can I borrow some of your podcast equipment? And I promise you I'll give it back because I promise you I'm not a thief. I promise you that you're my best friend." The next thing you know, I find out you're in California. You ran
Oh
away
yeah.
from me.
So yeah, by the time the third episode, so you did three, and then my girlfriend at the time, she did 137 episodes with me
Yeah.
after that.
Lovely
But
woman.
yeah. Anyways, that's why some of these that's why I had to do this reboot. But yeah, we had a fallout about a sound blocker, because when you had wanted to split, it was professional. Like, we look back on now, it's like it was creatively professional reasons, and then also
Yeah.
there were some personal things that you were doing with your own, and you had to make a decision. Which, I mean, it is what it is. It was different. We should have done this earlier. That's what it came down to. Was we should have done that when we were younger. And so I did that 137 episodes. I mean, you saw it. Everything. You have to admit, though, I had pitched Ray that we could go to cons, we could we could get interviews, we could do different things, and we went to a con, Ray and I together. And I'll tell you one thing: putting yourself out there with flyers, not a good idea. But goddamn, people really don't give a shit if you're nobody. Remember that? You were like,
Yeah.
I can't do this. You're like, no, no, this is all you. And nobody's taking the flyers or nothing. And but I did everything, right? Everything I pitched, I did with my ex. Right? I mean, was there
Yeah,
anything I yeah.
you did. You got to interview people. Um, how you came up with the money to go some of the cons is a little questionable. Um, but, but we don't have to get into that. Just you lived out your dream. Was it worth it?
Yeah. Are you being serious or are you joking here?
No, I'm being serious. Like looking back, going to all
Oh,
the cons, getting the interviews with the people that you did interview.
oh
Was it
yeah.
worth it?
Yeah, because I don't know if you're familiar with Sophie Thatcher. She did a Companion Heretic. She's on Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
But I did her film debut. Now she's a real big actress now. So yeah, like that was pretty cool. Meeting the Green Ranger and getting do multiple interviews with Jason David Frank, who's no longer with us. Rest in peace. Yeah, it was fun. But I'm not gonna go into that because that would take a long time. But behind the scenes, it was a total nightmare. When I had shared to you the journey to get to those cons, it was not fun to
Right.
do it with. Yeah, and mixing your personal and professional life, it's not it's true what they say, it's not a good thing. So, a lot of stress, but yeah, it was worth it. But the podcast ended in 2022, so after 5 years from 2017 to 2022, and then we actually expanded to YouTube. We got real big into Funko. That was like our bread and butter, was like doing Funko, like constant hauls and all that. But my ex and I split up after 14 years with a little on and off in between. There's a lot of Jedi mode. Now I'm looking back on that.
Yeah, you left her. You left her in the dust, bro.
Actually, Ray and I went many years without speaking to each other, especially after the podcast ended. And it's funny that he's the first guest because we had a falling out, I think like 3 years ago, or no, 5 years ago or something like that. He calls me on August 16th, 2023.
You still remember.
Oh, yeah. was my mom's birthday that this was
Oh,
gonna happen.
yeah.
Yeah. Ray calls me. We had stopped speaking to each other for about I was mad at him, so I didn't speak to him for about a year or
Yep.
right or 2. And
That was a long time.
he calls me, and I pick up and I said, "I can't believe you're calling me on the worst day of my life I'm about to experience." You
And
remember you told me?
it was just random.
Yeah, you I don't know if you remember this, but you told me, you go, I'm changing my number, so I was just gonna call
Yeah.
you one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is the worst day of my life." And I had told you, I was like, my ex basically or my girlfriend was like, "We need to talk." And you know what that means when it's, "We need to talk," and you're like, "What's up?" And she's like, "We just need to talk about some things. What time is good for you?" Like I'm a business. And she's like, "I'll just call you around 5 o'clock." So I talked to you for about 2 hours because I was like, "Let me tell you what happened."
Sh
And I got
she
dumped.
she asked you what time you were available like you had a job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I got broken up, and then I hit rock bottom, and the podcast, when it ended in December 2022, at that p I ended up in the hospital, like, that January 1st, New Year, so I was like, "I don't know if the podcast is ever gonna come back." And then did you mention it after August 16th? Did you ask me if I would ever bring it back? Because a lot of people kept asking me, like, "Will it come back?"
I just asked if you were ever gonna record again because I think that would have been amazing that, for as depressed as you were, just do a podcast on your depression.
Oh,
That
you
would have got some views.
you have to like, if I asked you how bad was I was in a pretty bad place.
Yeah, because you were actually talking to me, so I was like, "I know he's all fucked up."
And so I th do you remember when I reached out to you and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring this back." Do you remember? Was it
Yeah.
2025? Was it 2026?
Oh, it was this year. No,
Yeah.
maybe it was late last year, but yeah, you brought up the idea and I was like, "Dude, go for it. Give yourself something to do."
Well, you when I asked you what was your honest thoughts about the podcast with my girlfriend when she took over, you were like, "It was boring." You didn't hesitate. I'm not offended by this. You were like, "It's boring," and I'm not sure what's up with you because that's not who you are. You don't what happened to you? You're not even funny. Like, what is going on here? You just stiff.
Like, there was no humor in it. It was just, like, very monotone from
Yeah.
you and her. And you guys I mean, obviously, there are people out there that loved Funko Pops. I just wasn't one of it, so to me, that added on to the boringness of
Yeah.
the pod. And you guys loving anime, like, I'm not a huge anime fan, but,
Mhm.
I just thought it needed a little oomph, you know, that it didn't
And
have when I left.
and you said we had no chemistry, which made me laugh because you were like, "I don't understand. You guys are in a relationship. Like, what's happened there?" But there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I had told you that would explain why I was constantly like, I was not I was not my best work. And you were that's why I always relied on you because everyone else wasn't gonna tell me the truth, but you were like, "Hey man, it's boring and you have
It
no chemistry."
was. It
Yeah.
was, and as for someone who was in a relationship with that person, there should be some form of chemistry, like, kiss or something, but you guys never did.
On the podcast, like halfway through, like well, it
Mm,
was an audio only
mm.
podcast.
Yeah.
Um, but my therapist, I've been going to therapy and she was like, "Would you ever bring it back?" And she was like, "You should bring it back." I almost changed therapists that same day. I was like, "Out of your mind," because I was
Damn.
so defeated. And then I did a couple guests on some podcasts. The First Watch podcast, you check that out, and Movie Friends, and they both were fun experiences. And I was like, maybe I could do this. And so this is why we're here today. It's the first episode of the reboot, and what's changing, if I don't know if I said this already, because some of this might be, we had a little technical issue earlier. But when I bring this podcast back, there is no permanent co-host. It's going to be a rotating affair. And it's funny that the first guy that I tapped to come on is the guy who lasted a whopping 3 episodes who's still pissed about a sound blocker. You know,
Yes, that cost $600.
no, it did not. It cost $39.99, and I told
Oh,
you to keep that money, just buy you a new one. But this one was a limited edition or something because you were like, I want this specific
It
one
was like
back.
limited edition, signed by Dr. Dre, you know, it was freaking awesome, and you just took it. And I knew in my heart when I saw you drive off, I was like, "That's the last time I'm gonna see it." I knew it.
Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah, as
Wow.
you put your hand out your window and flipped me off as you were driving away, and I was like,
Wow.
"Oh, man,
All
that's
right.
not
So
cool, man."
let's get into this episode. So I'm going to ask you some questions outside of how we met. You tell me what film made you realize you love movies.
What film? Oh, man. Um You put me on the spot here. I honestly I have no idea. I just
You got these questions for like 72 hours. You're like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Was
what
it
film made me really, really love movies? I mean, I can go back to when I was a kid,
sure? Yeah. Yeah.
The Fox and the Hound.
Oh, okay. Are you being serious?
Yeah,
I'm not tricking you.
that's a
Okay. I didn't
sad
know you. I've
movie.
never heard this. I've never heard this. No, seriously. I've
I
never heard you
I
mention the.
I was
No, I
actually watching clips of the movie on YouTube literally a couple days ago, and I was like, "No, don't shoot the fox." It's a
don't remember
Have
the
you seen
movie.
it?
I have, but I don't remember. We should review it because I love to hear you wax poetry about a movie that you've never mentioned in 18 years. I was expecting, actually, I was expecting American Gangster. That's so funny.
American Gangster, yeah, but I already liked movies before that, so, I mean, I could throw in, like, Walk the Line, I thought was really
Mm.
that was one that really resonated with me as far as my love for film.
It's funny that you mentioned Fox and the Hound because when I mentioned the movie that I knew that I love movies, you will know this because I've talked about Endless, but I love the original Star Wars, A New Hope. I love Star Wars. I think you've known that for 18 years. I could sit there all day. I would do marathons and try to get you and the other guys to come over, and you guys would only come. I don't know if you ever came. Did you ever come for one of those?
No.
No. You were like, I don't care. I
Yeah,
don't care.
but I do love A New Hope is my favorite Star Wars flick out of all of them.
I I used to be a Return of the Jedi as a kid, but looking back on it, A New Hope. I mean, it never gets more exciting than that first movie for me, like, because I remember it
Yeah.
as a kid. Now, well, you did tell us some of your favorite movies. Walk the Line was one of them. You put me on to that. Because I really never listened. I only listen. Do you remember how I was when we first met? What was I listening to?
Return of the Mac?
Well, I was a big hip hop guy, and you used to make fun of me because I used to walk around with a yellow cassette
Yeah, I
player.
remember do you still have that?
Somewhere. Yeah, I still do. Do you remember why I had it?
'Cause you couldn't afford a CD player?
No, no.
Oh,
I
what?
told you this one time, and you laughed at me because I had just moved to Arizona because I lived in California. I used to walk home late at night, and I thought if I
Right.
got jacked, I would show them the cassette player, and they'd be like, "Get the fuck
He has
out of
no
here!"
money.
Like, and you were like, it's so and so city. This is a suburban area. Nobody's jacking you."
Yeah, it's true, and you used to walk far too.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
lived far
One
from
time,
the movie theater.
you used to give me rides sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah,
Was that your truck or was that your stepdad's truck?
that was I think it was my stepdad's. I feel bad for you, you know? I see you this dude walking home late at night, like 1 in the morning, and he's not from here, he's from California, and he's walking around with a cassette player, and I'm just like, "Dude, this is embarrassing. So let me just pick him up and save him." And so I would pick you up and take you home.
I'll tell a story real quickly here. I one time walked home and the Walmart was 24 hours and I had never experienced that. So I went and bought groceries. And this is when I first moved. So I'm walking and cops pulled me over. I got pulled over quite a lot. They would pull over and be like, "What are you doing?" I had a bunch of groceries because the cart didn't work. I didn't realize the cart wouldn't move outside of
Mhm.
the property. The cops go, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to so and so street." And they start laughing at me. They go, "You're in the completely wrong direction. You don't even know how to get home. It's this way." And they didn't even offer to give me a ride. They just took off.
Did
Started
they
laughing. Yeah,
really?
yeah. And I walked so far. I was walking toward Glendale, Arizona, and
Oh,
I didn't live
In
in that at the time. Stupid, right?
well, good thing they told you.
True, that
You
is
you could
true.
you could have been that one of those people in the Walmart, the missing persons list.
Okay, that's for mostly children, like, not a
Oh,
19-year-old walking like a set player. No, no, that's not it.
oh.
Alright, so tell me some of your favorite actors, actresses, um, directors. Do you have any writers? Like, what comes to mind? I don't expect you to, you know, run off a whole list, but, like, I'm sure there's a couple that come to your mind.
So favorite directors for me personally would be James Mangold. It would be Nolan. I'm such a Nolan fanboy. I'll watch anything he makes. Um, as far as actors go, Denzel Washington's my number one. Excuse me. Ryan Gosling. I love me some Ryan Gosling. Uh, Ryan Reynolds, he's up there. He's the best.
Okay,
and
that's what
then
about, actresses? You have any has there ever been, like, you're like,
Anne
that's a real
Anne Hathaway.
wow,
I
showing
love her. I love her. Um, but I'm mostly I think in the right role, I think Jennifer Lawrence is really good. She's really talented. I don't like
yes.
how she's doing comedy movies now. Like in a more serious role, I think she can. I mean, she's an Oscar winner.
Well,
Emma Stone, I love Emma Stone. I think she's really good. But as far as Martin Scorsese, a director, I love him. And as far as writers goes, probably I like David S. Goyer a lot, and I like the directors who write their own movies, like Nolan and Scorsese and all them.
wow, yeah, I was so surprised with the Anne Hathaway. So will we be seeing you at the Devil Wears Prada too?
Um, uh, no, I'll probably wait for streaming on that one. Yeah.
She's good, but she gets a lot of flack from people. Now, you just alluded with Jennifer Lawrence about comedy. So, what are your favorite? And I'm assuming comedy is your least favorite genre.
Oh, I hate comedies. There's only certain comedy movies that I actually enjoy, right?
Oh.
Superbad's one of them. The 40-Year-Old Virgin is probably my top comedy that I really like. And then if you consider the Jackass movies comedy, like I love those, but they're not really acting though, so it's just them being them. Uh, but comedies I don't like is because they're acting, they're trying to make you laugh, like they're not being themselves. And a lot of those times, like, I'm just like it's not funny to me. If that even makes sense. But my all-time best genre is like drama. I like drama. I like thrillers. I'm not a huge action movie fan. I like a good detective movie.
Like Knives Out,
More
that's
like
like Seven.
yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
that. Stuff. And then TV shows too, like True Detective, stuff like that. I love. I can't get enough of it. Just a thriller detective movie. You don't know what's coming next. And the
You do
Batman.
detective. Yeah, you do love Batman. That's I was waiting for this. Batman. Oh my god, this guy loves Batman.
I like my movies to be realistic as well. Like
Yes.
it can be a sci-fi movie, and I'm okay with that. Like District 9 is one of my all-time favorite sci-fi movies, but they made it in a realistic way where you think that could actually happen. It's not Sharknado where there's fucking sharks in that outer space flying around. Like that to me is fucking stupid. You know what I mean? If I see a
Well, I mean,
shark
Game of
flying
Thrones.
outside, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I've never seen them. I wouldn't even know. I didn't know they went to they went to outer space.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Now, I don't know if you go anymore. I do know, but I'm gonna ask you: do you believe the best way to experience movies is at the movie theater?
Yes, I do. Um, unless you have a home theater system at your house and a nice 4K TV, but I still like going to the cinema. There's nothing. nothing compares to going into a cinema with other people and you can feel the excitement in the cinema as you got your big bag of popcorn and your big soda and you just the lights go down and the sound system, it's just there's nothing like it. Here at if I watch it at the house, I'm just like I hear birds chirping in the backyard and you got kids yelling at me. I'm just, in the cinema, there's just that's where I grew up every weekend. My parents taking me to the cinema to go watch movies, you know? And so if it's a movie I really, really want to see and I'm really excited for, I'm watching it at the theater. If it's a movie I'm just like, I want to see it, but I don't need to go, I'll wait for streaming. But for instance, like all the Batman movies I saw in theater. I can't wait for the Odyssey. I'm gonna go see that in the theater, you know. But when like the Love Guru, I didn't need to go see that in the theater, but you forced me to go. I would have waited for streaming on that one, but
Streaming didn't exist at that time, by the way.
I would
By
have
the way,
waited for the physical media.
hold on here. To my credit, I'm making you go see The Love Guru. I thought he couldn't go wrong after Austin Powers. He did. And we didn't even finish that movie. We walked out because our friend named, I can't even make this up, Big Sausage was like, yo, this movie sucks. Let's go get some food.
Yeah, we went to go
And
get food.
yeah, but the girl you were on a date with, she didn't want to leave, even though the movie was, even I was like, all right, man, my bad. Let's just go. And she was like, well, no, I don't want to go. I don't
I
know
think
why
she just wanted to stay with me. That's all.
but you're one to leave.
I wanted to leave. I regretted going, and you were like, "Dude, this is amazing. Mike Myers is on top of the world right now. It's getting Oscar buzz. Like, let's go." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay." And then
No,
literally ten minutes in, I was like, "Dude, this movie's shit." And you're like, and I'm looking over at you, and you're just laughing nonstop, tears in your eyes, and you're like, "This is the best movie I've ever seen." And I'm just like, "What is happening right now? I don't even know who you are."
that did not happen. I remember being saying like, "Oh, I think it's gonna be good. We'll find out." Halfway through the movie, I realized Mike Myers let me down, and looking over, I let my friends down. Was like, "We gotta go," because I was like, I don't think we ever finished it. I think we left because we had guest
I
passes working there.
I don't know how it ended.
We should review it and find out.
Didn't they own like a hockey team or something?
I don't remember. I just remember he said one thing about Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth, and I thought that was clever because I was a Wu-Tang fan, and that was it. But well, I did. I don't know if that's a favorite memory or experience, but do you have like that's you just giving me a hard time. But like, do you have a favorite movie or theater experience? Like, you went to go see something.
Dark Knight comes to mind. I'm a the midnight releases I guess were my favorite experiences back when they had midnight releases because I everyone getting together to go watch a movie at midnight like I thought that was super fun.
You like midnight releases? It's kind of funny that you say that because you never showed up to any of them outside of the Dark Knight.
Yes, I did. I went to
Oh,
go watch Year One with you, which was
I knew you were gonna
horrible.
go.
I was I look back and I'm like, what was I doing? That's how you know I had nothing to do and I just wanted to go hang out.
Well, comedy was my favorite genre when we met because I remember making you go with me to every Seth Rogen. Like whenever there was a Seth Rogen movie, the whole crew that we were friends with at the movie theater, we'd all go see it. I remember Pineapple Express. We did that. Um,
That one's
I've
okay.
changed. I've changed. Comedy's not my favorite genre. I'm not laughing anymore. I go watch
You,
comedies now. And I feel like you, and I'm like, this isn't funny. What's happening here? Sci-fi
I
is
f-
my favorite genre.
really
Yeah, I don't
like
care if it's unrealistic too. Like if it's really, I prefer them more grounded. But when yeah, District 9. Um, I just saw 2001: Space Odyssey.
are you gonna go
You know,
see Project Hail Mary?
I saw it already. It's really good.
Is it? It's
Yes,
at like a 93, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'll say this because I know you. You might think it's a little too long. You might think it's a little too. There's a
Stupid.
certain thing. you may not walk out of there feeling as happy as some of us. You might be, you know what I mean? But maybe you will because you're a little older now. You might have a different perspective. But young Ray would have like they could have cut that movie like 20 minutes shorter and they could have done this. But I think you might like it. Ryan Gosling.
That's what I'm
Now that's
saying. Like if we just have to go in there for 2 hours and just stare at him, I'm fine.
okay. Well, let me tell you. For some reason, people have doubted Ryan Gosling's acting because he hasn't done maybe I guess as bold choices as Drive and Ides of March, but a lot of people say this is a return to form. I just think it's just a project that allows Ryan Gosling to showcase the things that made him a name in the 2010s. So I think you should watch it. Yeah, I would love to hear what you think because people are giving it 5 stars on Letterboxd, and I'm like, I don't know if Ray would give that five. Everything I think of is like, would Ray give that movie this amount of stars? Are you on Letterboxd?
I have an account. I've only reviewed one movie, and it was Furiosa, and I loved Furiosa.
Okay. Did you see me looking? Did you see that pause? I was like, okay, hold up, because I have the poster. I'm
Now
staring.
it wasn't
Okay,
as good as Tom Hardy Mad Max. I still
okay.
put that one number one, but Furiosa was pretty good.
But yeah, actually, the thing about Tom Hardy, I didn't even mention anything I like, but Tom Hardy is my favorite actor. I do love Denzel. Tom Hardy to me,
To-
I don't care how many Venom movies he makes. I mean, I don't really like them, but I don't care how many Venom movies he makes. I will ride and die with Tom Hardy until the end because that
Tom
man, yeah.
Tom is a good actor. I mean, that dude could be an Oscar winning actor, but yet he does movies like Venom. He does movies like This Means War. Like you don't need to do those kind of movies. I mean, in Peaky Blinders, dude's amazing.
I haven't seen that fully.
He was in that other show, Taboo,
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
amazing. He was good in Bronson. He was
Mhm.
good in Dunkirk. He was good in Dark Knight Rises. He has the potential, but he does these. It's like he does these movies. Like you're an amazing fucking actor. Go win an award.
Okay, hold on here. I got a rebuttal here because let me tell you,
Go
this
win an
means
award.
this means war. I wasn't a fan of, but let me tell you, during that era, we got Inception, we got Lawless, we got Locked, we got what else did we get? Bronson came before then, but we got The Revenant, we got Legend was okay. I'll you know. Oh,
I
what was that
actually
one?
liked
South Park
Legend.
4 was okay. Which one?
I actually liked Legend. Or no. Um the
Locked.
Warrior. Warrior.
Warrior. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I had a good run for him. He likes doing those Venom movies. They're done now, but
Didn't he do
yeah,
it for his kid?
no, he likes the character. He likes the character. Yeah, he really loved doing those movies. I am not a fan of. I own them. I would. Well, I own the first two. I would watch them, and you know, that's the thing though. Sometimes look at Ryan Gosling. Same thing. People thought he went and did some things that people were like, "Why is he making these movies?" Like, go back to making Drive, and I'm like, guy doesn't want to do it. So, but yeah, I'm a huge Tom Hardy. That's my guy. I like Meryl Streep. I know this is gonna. I know you're gonna give me some shit about this because I remember I told you this the first time. You're like, name a Meryl Streep movie that you like, and I was like, she was good in Deer Hunter, you know, and Sophie's
Mamma
Choice.
Mia.
Like,
Mhm.
but yeah, you did mention some of my favorite movies were some of yours. District 9 for sure. Inception, Interstellar. Basically, I am a Nolan fanboy too. Dark Knight. And then I've changed a lot of my movie taste. I like movies like The Great Escape, which I know you've not seen. You don't really like older movies, right? You're not that big into the older movies.
No, I think they're awful. Citizen Kane is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Casablanca is complete boring.
I'm gonna
And don't
stop you.
Don't tell me that you can just pop it on and watch it. That's a complete lie.
I went to go see them in theaters the last couple months. I just saw
Yeah,
Casablanca on Valentine's Day. I saw it
and
back in
and
September in
and
theaters.
you sat there the entire time and was like, "This is amazing.
Yes, yes,
That's
I did. I
crazy. That's so
what are you talking
crazy."
about? Humphrey Bogart is amazing.
You don't even know who that is.
I do because I watch a lot of his movies. In a Lonely Place. Like, what are you talking about? That's the funniest thing about this is he mentions Casablanca and Citizen Kane, and we took an intro to film class, and we both failed because the teacher never actually taught anything that was covered in the test or in the homework. She expected us to do our own like curriculum, and then would just give us tests. But I missed Citizen Kane in theater at during that class because I became homeless. I stopped going, and then by the
That
time I
is
came
true.
yeah, that is yeah, and then by the time I came back, I remember being like, "Hey, what'd you think of Citizen Kane?" You're like, "That was the most boring movie I ever saw." Did I miss Casablanca too? I think I may have, right?
I think so. I
Yeah, because you
know,
were like, "Good."
dude, it's boring.
And we both
Like,
failed. Actually, everybody failed that class, right? Except like one person.
dude, she had one of the highest uh fail rates, I guess, as a teacher at that college.
I think you and I can both agree. Very excited to take intro to film, and it was not fun at all. It made me not like movies because she was strange about it. Like she never taught us anything. I just read
She
most of the book
didn't.
myself.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
like, "Watch this movie, and we're gonna take a test on it."
Do you remember the one time we had to do what was it, the final, and she tells us what's going to be covered, and somebody raises their hand, the only one who's going to pass. Remember, I think it was a girl. She was the only one who's going to pass, and she's like, "Well, none of this is covered on
Mhm.
the,"
Yeah.
and she goes, "You don't have to worry if you don't do well in the final because you're going to be the only one that everyone else here is going to fail." And I remember being like, "Whoa, what?"
Like,
Like,
what teacher says that?
yeah,
As aspiring film stars that we were at the time, who says that?
yeah, that was. I remember being like, I remember you looking over and going, I think you're more concerned about whether you're gonna have a place to stay than what's happening with film class. But yeah, and then my last question you did already answer was you do have Letterbox. Why were we using Letterbox? We were there when it first came out, and I had never heard of it, never used it
I had
until like 3 years
never
ago.
heard of it either.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're the
we just
one who
started
told me
renting
about it,
movies.
and I made an account, and I reviewed one movie, and that was it.
You would have been notorious with your reviews in your prime with the way you were reviewing movies. Oh my god! Like I was the Harry Potter trailers TV series just released a trailer. I'm not gonna watch it, but I always remember you on Twitter when the Deathly Hallows Part 2 was ending. You posted July 18th. It ends in so much excitement because you were like, I'm sick of this franchise.
I just thought those movies could have been so much better.
Oh, I thought you just didn't like them at all.
Oh, I don't. They're boring. I never got into Harry Potter. Like, even when the books, I had friends. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I love Harry Potter. The books are amazing." I'm just like, we're not friends anymore. Like, the book is so. I don't know. I just thought Harry Potter was just so boring. But I do and I don't remember the director's name, but the director who directed that movie.
David Yates, right?
No, the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Terry Gilliam, right?
Yes, yes. I know he wanted the Harry Potter franchise and they didn't give it to him, but I would have loved to have seen what he would have done with the Harry Potter franchise.
Yeah, that would not have been for kids. From what I've watched, I haven't watched many of his movies. Like 12, like did he do 12 Monkeys? Yeah, there's no way that they're gonna be like, go ahead and make a Harry Potter movie for the kids. Yeah, the kids are not gonna know what the hell is happening. But now that we got your introduction, which lives up to the beginning of this whole episode, that you have no filter. Like, I'm not gonna even lie to you. I even told you this is so funny. Is truthfully, Ray, he might seem like he doesn't care about you, but he's a good friend. But let me tell you, when he came onto this podcast and agreed to do it, I said, "I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I don't care about Ryan Reynolds, but just think about what you say before you say it." And I have to say, you've done a very good job. Not to say you would say anything offensive, but you don't have a filter. Like I said, you're just like, I'm gonna tell you how it is, and I might do a social media clip of the Casablanca because I know
That's
that you're about to
boring.
get ripped apart for that. Can I tag you?
Yeah, tag me. I will argue with everybody who says that movie is amazing because it's not.
I would put that in my top 10, Casablanca.
I dude, that's crazy. I don't even know who you
It's
are.
it's the perfect love story.
I can make a better movie than Casablanca today.
Oh wow, you should come back to film Twitter because there's so many people that say that I can make a better movie than these guys.
I could.
But we're gonna
I
we're gonna
mean, you
review.
can
Go ahead.
basically record on your phone nowadays.
That is true. So we're gonna review a movie. One I let you choose from a list. What was the movie?
Uncut Gems.
Now, this movie, the reason why I
Wait,
gave you a list of movies. Go ahead.
that was the only movie that I saw that was on the list. You gave me a list of like 20 movies, and I was like, I haven't seen any of these, and I have no interest in seeing any of them. But Uncut Gems was the one that I picked.
I did put a Ryan Gosling movie in there, right?
Which one?
Half Nelson, the one he was the youngest at the
Oh,
time. Yeah,
okay. Well,
nominated.
that's nah.
You didn't
That
know
one's
that, did you? You didn't know that. You looked there like, what the hell are all these movies? But I gave you that one because I wanted you to pick that. But I was like, it's up to him. And so I was surprised when you did Uncut Gems because I thought at least you would research. It was the first movie on the list. Half Nelson.
I Uncut Gems was the one that caught my eye, and I'm like, I've seen it, so I'll just pick it.
Oh, you had seen it before?
I
Oh, I
told
thought you
you.
had not. Okay, well,
So okay, I didn't see the whole thing. I watched parts of it, and then I stopped because of situations, work and stuff. And then so I went back and I rewatched the whole thing in full. And man, what a movie!
all right. So this episode will kick off a movie series. It might be monthly. It's called Addiction Ain't No Joke. I find movies that are addiction based to be some of the best movies because these are things that would never happen to me. So I think it's fascinating to watch people addicted to whatever and their whole life comes crashing down and we get to see them. Will they rise above it or will they just crumble underneath it? So I'm going to give some movie facts, which I'm sure you already know this, but Uncut Gems came out in 2019. It's
Mhm.
directed by the Safdie brothers, is written by the Safdie brothers and Ronald Braunstein. Stars Adam Sandler, Julia Fox, Kevin Garnett, Lakeith Stanfield, and Idina Menzel. And the synopsis of this movie is a New York jeweler with enormous debts and collectors on his back decides to risk it all to salvage everything in his life.
The first time I saw the trailer, I was like, this actually looks pretty good because it's not something that you thought you would see Adam Sandler in as far as a role. I'm not an Adam Sandler fan. Never have, never will be. So to see him in
Not one
this,
movie.
no. I mean, Mr. Deeds is I can tolerate it, but as far as like Gilmore and then whatever else movies he's done, I there's not one that I can sit there and be like, I love it.
What about have you seen Punch Drunk Love? Everyone says that's a really good movie with him. It's like a
Yes, I did not like it. The only movie I literally can tolerate him in is Mr. Deeds.
that's crazy that Big Daddy's right there.
Big Big Daddy was so just not funny to me.
All right. So you saw the trailer and you're like, this is worth checking out.
Yes, because I always like actors that go and do roles that's not in their comfort zone per se. So it tells me that hey, like these guys actually can act. You know,
Mhm.
like for instance, I'll give you an example. Excuse me. I want to say Danny McBride. When he was
Mm.
in Alien Covenant, I thought he brought it. He brought it. Like that tells me that that dude could fucking act. He's not just a thug life, all that, bullshit. But perfect example. So when I saw Adam in this trailer, I was like, okay, let me see what you got, bro.
So, if you have not seen, actually, let me look over here because I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them. If you haven't seen Uncut Gems, you should press pause, go watch it, and then come back or not. And we're just going to talk about it anyways. So,
Make
here
sure you do come
we go.
back to the pod though.
Oh, I would love to know. I can't wait to get feedback from this because this is vintage Ray Ray. I don't know if this is vintage Patrick. So you would know, but I don't know. Um, all right, so let's do this. Let's talk movies. Okay,
Uncut
Uncut
Gems.
Gem. What was your like? What was your first initial thoughts and like reactions after the movie had ended?
So let me go back a little bit. During the movie, right? I'm watching during the movie. My initial thought, everyone, like, shut the fuck up. I cannot stand when people are yelling and over talking each other, and that's what that movie basically was. The whole entire film. It's just Adam Sandler is, it's a typical New Yorker. That's how they talk. They're very loud. They're very animated. Blah blah blah. But it seems like every scene, like everyone's talking over each other and yelling, and I was just like, dude, get to the point. Like, let's go. Okay, you're fucking in debt. Like, come on, let's go. Let's get this shit going. But other than that, when it ended, to be honest, I thought watching the trailer, I thought the trailer was better than the actual movie. I didn't.
If that's how you feel about it,
I mean, there are movies that are like that where the trailers are actually better than the movie. Okay, just like the trailer for Terminator Salvation. The trailer was better than the actual movie. I know you loved it, but I thought it was slow. It was
I will agree with you. That trailer, that first trailer, I
was
was in.
awesome.
Remember repeating all the lines to you, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, I loved it. It's not as good, but I love it. I haven't seen it since it
Yeah.
came out, so let's see how that goes.
Yeah. So there are films where the trailer is actually better than, and I thought this was one of them. I didn't love it. I liked it. It was cool to see Adam Sandler, you know, in a different role. Um, but the movie itself, it was very chaotic. Obviously, it was high anxiety. It was frustrating because whenever I watch a movie, I always try to put myself in the main character's shoes and be like, what would I do? And what would I do different? And he did everything that I wouldn't do, obviously. So it was nerve. It was like nerves. I was nervous for him the whole time, because he just kept digging that hole for himself. And I'm not one to keep digging the hole for myself. I try to get out as fast as I can. And so overall, like I said, it was good. It wasn't a bad movie. It was good. I thought I don't know if my expectations were a little too high, but I didn't love it. It was good, but not great.
And you want to watch their first movie, Good Time, and I be
With
curious to know.
Pattinson,
Yeah, and then Marty Supreme with Timothy Chalamet. They're all chaotic, but I think Uncut Gems is my favorite of the three. And I'd be curious to know how you feel about the rest. Because if you're like, I'm tired of this chaos, just imagine the other two movies. Because it's maybe not as high octane as Uncut Gems, but it gets pretty stressful. For me, I remember I watched it. I wanted to see it in theaters, but it was like really hard to. No one really had it, and so somebody found it and we watched it. I did see it last year. I did pay for it last year in IMAX, and that was stressful to do that in
Wow.
a crowd where you can't react. You have to
Right.
sit there like, fucking Howard, you know? And so I loved it. I love the chaos, and I'm like you. I put myself in this, and I know you're already like, "That's funny," because there's no way you would do any of this that he had done, knowing you. Nor if I look at you, I'm like, "There's no way Ray would do any of that because it's insane." But I love the chaos, and I love the stress and anxiety because it brings out to me, I love when it's engaging. I mean, I
Right.
don't like what he did, but I just love it. I'm like, "Oh my god, stop.
S
Stop.
right.
Stop, Howard."
Yes. So, maybe I'm wrong, but from what I when I was watching, they didn't really go in depth, but he was all I mean, we just assume he was already in debt when once the movie started.
Mm.
Yeah. So, it didn't really explain how he got into that debt in the first place. It was just him just making a bunch of bets, we're assuming anyways.
Yeah, he just couldn't stop making those bets. And then my jaw dropped that he owed his brother-in-law
Well,
$100,000. It's just like my initial thoughts was like, I love this movie. I don't really like him, but
right.
I'm also rooting for him because he's like an escape artist. He's like a magician. The way he could just break out of all these scenarios. I couldn't even get past the first scenario.
Which
Like, remember those 2 guys that were asking for money? Those 2, like, they look like twins, the brothers,
yeah.
and he gives them a fake Rolex? I couldn't even escape those guys if my life depended on it. I'd be like I'd be running, and they'd be right behind me. I'd be like, "I'm not giving you the money," you know? But
You
I
can
personally
yeah. You can outrun me, though.
yeah, that'll be another time when we tell that there's a lot of stories with Ray and I doing some
Oh,
stupid
okay.
shit, but,
I broke my ankle, but go
um
ahead.
you'll be back, I'm sure. Yeah, we gotta make it past 3 episodes with you at least.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love the chaos, and I love the way it's filmed, where it's unnerving. It's never ending. Like the thing
Right.
about it is, it's like a roller coaster, except it's just like it's a long, T gets, and it takes forever, and then when it finally drops, you're kind of like, oh, I didn't expect. I thought for sure this was going to go a different way, and it. I don't know. Were you surprised by the ending?
Oh, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
looking back, I 'cause I went back and I rewatched the ending. Looking back, there's clearly signs there of what's going to happen just because of the facial expression of that guy that's in that locked in that room. Like
Yeah.
he's just waiting to get out to make his move. But um but yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, "Holy shit, dude just died." And, and I'm assuming with all that money that his girlfriend had, I mean, she's
Mm.
probably happy as can be living life. He's dead. She could, hit the road and go wherever she wants now, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think she did really like him. I mean, I think she loved him in some aspects, but because I mean, she could have just taken the money in the beginning and just took off on him too. But I think she's gonna be fine. Truthfully, Howard not being alive anymore is gonna make a lot of people happy.
oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, what I mean, because it's just insane. But actually, I when I first saw it, I was totally blown away. When you rewatch it again, you kind of know what's going on. Right before he locks him into that room, the other guy, not the one that shoots him, but the other guy, the bald guy, I think he's
Mhm.
kind of bald. He's about to pull out a gun, and the other guy who actually shoots Howard later on is like, "Yo, yo, we're not about that. Like, it's not
Yeah,
that serious." It's so much. Once he's in that room and it's hot, he's like, "I'm gonna kill
yeah,
this." The thing about Howard, and we're talking about addiction, he has a gambling issue, but he's also a narcissist who does not care about anybody, and he must he lives in another world where he can just let those guys out and not think anything is going to happen to him because he finally won the big bet. I'm
right.
going to tell you right now, me, I'm not letting those guys out until I'm out of the building. I'm gone, or she comes back, Julia. is that I don't remember what her name was in the movie, but Julia Fox's character, I
Mhm.
would have had her bring back the money. I would have laid out $100,000 for Arnold, and I would have left those guys each $100,000 and be like, "We're good, right?" Like, and then I would have went out and had someone open that door for them because I'm not going to be there. But I mean, it kind of lines up with Howard's character, right? Where he thinks I'm untouchable, baby. Ain't nothing going to happen to me. I can
Yeah.
weasel my way out. And he got so caught up, dude. That's why it's so good. If you've never seen Uncut Gems and you watch it, what's like you show somebody who's never seen it before because nobody is prepared for that. Boom, because it's quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like I said, it's very it's a lot of anxiety because you're just like, dude, Howard, you need to stop. You need to stop. You just stop digging yourself a hole, a bigger hole because it's not going to end well. And then it takes you on this ride because wait a minute, it is going to end well for him, you know? And you're like, okay, maybe he'll just, everything's good and they'll get their money. And nope, not at all. Big old hole in his head.
It's like when do you remember there was a show called Behind the Magic, I think it was called? And there was a guy who wore a mask and he would expose all the magician tricks because I guess that's like the forbidden
Oh,
law.
yeah.
And to me, the whole movie is basically that because we know right off within 20 minutes of this movie, we realize who Howard is, that he's a narcissist who gets off on high bets. No matter win or lose, there's a thrill that he can't get enough of. He can't stop himself. And so what you just said is kind of what happens. We know it. We know where this is going to lead to eventually. But then when he wins, we're like Arnold's character in we're like, oh, he did it. No
Yep.
way. You kind of forgive him.
Hmm.
And then we let down our guard. And as soon as that door opens, the magician, we're revealing things. Cause I mean, how long are you going to tolerate someone like this? His family can tolerate him. His girlfriend can tolerate him. His employees can tolerate him for a certain amount. One left, and he didn't even give a shit. Even Kevin Garnett can tolerate him for a little bit. But these two guys, he put through the ringer, and these were not dudes you play around with. And that's why I did feel sad when he died. But truthfully,
He had
he
it
did
coming.
deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know if you've talked about it, but were there any? Because you said you liked it but didn't love it, was there any particular highlights for you?
As far as the film goes,
Yeah, like any particular scenes or scenarios or acting?
just I the highlight for me was Adam Sandler getting out of his comfort comedy roles and seeing him do this because it makes me think that A, he can do it, and B, there needs to be more opportunity for him to showcase his acting skills. Because when you think of Adam Sandler, you just think of, the movies that he's always been in with his
Mhm.
buddies and just the comedy stuff, you know? And when you see someone do that kind of role and it makes you open your eyes like, hey, just because they do comedy doesn't mean they can't act. The dude can act. If you give him another shot in another movie, another serious role where he can, you know, perfect it and maybe get nominated for an award or something, you know? So that was the biggest highlight for me. Do I think he got snubbed? I don't. Just because I look at the list of who was nominated that year, um, I wouldn't have replaced him with anybody on that list. But I thought he did really good acting wise though. Just not good enough to be nominated.
So, I don't remember the full list, but I will say this. That year, I do disagree a little bit. That year, there were 2 guys who do comedy that got snubbed. One was obviously Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. The other was Eddie Murphy. I think it was My Name Is Dolomite. I think that's the name of the movie, and and that one's more of a comedy. But they both of those movies, I'm like two of the considered two of the greatest comedian actors put on arguably some of their best performances and were shut out at the Oscars, which makes
Yep.
it like to me it's strange because these are the type of performances you just talked about where like, oh, okay, I'm not used to seeing either one of these actors do more drama than
Right.
comedy. And we could finally recognize him. And Adam Sandler made the joke, I think, during the time if he doesn't get Oscar nominated, he's gonna go back to making those crappy movies.
Yeah.
And he did,
So now
but
tell me, I have the list right here in front of me. Okay. Who
okay.
would you replace Adam Sandler with? Okay.
Yeah.
Jonathan Pryce, Two Popes. Yes or no?
Read the whole list. Read the whole
Okay.
list. Yeah, read the
All
whole
right.
list because you almost set me up on that one.
All right. So Jonathan Pryce, The Two Popes. Antonio Banderas, Pain and Glory. Leonardo DiCaprio, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Adam Driver, Marriage Story. And then the winner, Joaquin Phoenix, Joker. Who would you replace Adam Sandler with? Because I wouldn't replace him with anybody.
I didn't see the Antonio Banderas movie, so I'm gonna excuse him. I did see Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes, and he really was good in that. And this is gonna be heartbreaking, but yeah, I would have to sub because yeah, I would sub Adam Sandler into that. Now, if you were to say where does Eddie Murphy go, you know what?
Nowhere.
I don't know if I can because I can't just say Antonio Banderas 'cause I didn't see it, because I wouldn't know. But man, Jonathan Pryce was good. But I would have probably had to say he would have been the one 'cause, you know.
See, I think Jonathan Pryce, uh, I in that movie was far better acting wise than Adam Sandler.
Oh, you saw it?
Yes, dude.
I don't know if I believe that, but I did see it for sure. And you are giving Jonathan Pryce his flowers that most people don't do. He was really good. But if you ask me, I think he may have been nominated for it or not. But he should have been, if he was to get nominated, it would have been for The Wife with Glenn Close. He was so
Yeah,
good in that.
yeah.
But Adam Sandler, I just think there was a missed opportunity. He did do a movie last year called Jay Kelly with George Clooney. He was really good in that one too.
Mhm.
That one not much comedy, and he was
Right.
really good. Not nominated as well.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
he need he needs to take on more roles of that caliber. You can't just do one and then just, you know, people just bow to you and get nominated. Like, no, you need to continue because everyone just thinks of you as the funny guy and hitting a golf ball and
yeah. I
playing
mean,
football.
well, he was supposed to do. I think they were going to do another movie together, the Safdie brothers, but then they separated. They had I don't know, something happened, and they split apart, and that movie fell apart, and so neither one brought Adam Sandler back. But, were there parts of this movie, Uncut Gems, that you didn't care about outside of the constant chaoticness? Was there, like, a specific scene or anything that you're like, "Oh my god, outside of this arguing, like, I don't really like this."
Not so much. Like I said, I just wish they gave more. I mean, it's easy for us to assume, obviously, why he was already in debt at the start of the movie, but it would
Yeah.
have been nice to know like a backstory of like how he got into the to gambling. Was it just a one time thing and then he just got hooked? Was it because he was meeting NBA players coming into the his store and just wanted to, "Hey, I like you. You're gonna go off tonight. I'm gonna put a lot of money on you." You know, there was no when the movie started, he was already in debt, and
Mhm.
I wanted to know that backstory
Oh, I see.
as
You
how he got that far in debt.
know what's funny? I didn't even say what I liked about this movie earlier. I just asked you, and I totally forgot. But
What'd you
I'll say this
like?
real quick here. I like the Kevin Garnett, aspect, him interacting with Kevin Garnett. Like, 'cause I never thought Kevin Garnett would do acting, and I
He
was like,
did
maybe he's
good.
yeah,
He did actually really good, Kevin Garnett, because it's
yeah.
not
You
like you when you see an athlete go to do movies, I don't know. It's weird for me to for them to make that jump because in the back
mm,
of my mind, I'm like, dude, you're not an actor. You're a whatever you are. But I didn't think that with Kevin Garnett because I just thought he was actually really good. He surprised me. Like, for instance, I don't know if you consider wrestling athletes. I think they are athletes, but when John Cena and The Rock first, got in the movies, I was just like, "What are you guys doing? You guys are not good." The Rock, I eventually kind of grown as an actor. But when I see John Cena, I'm just like, I think you're a better wrestler than you are an actor.
I noticed that Batista did not get mentioned in this. Is is he not even
He's
worth?
he's not a good actor. I know you love him in that Guardians movie or whatever it's called, of the
He's actually a really
galaxy.
good actor. You talking about he
I
does Kung
don't.
Fu, Blade Runner. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't think he's a good actor. I'm just like, go back to power bombing people.
Okay, okay. Yeah, the Kevin Garnett I really like because instead of Adam Sandler doing comedy, Kevin Garnett does it, and it's really good. Especially like that one line where he's like, "Why the fuck would you show me something if I couldn't have it?" It is. There's a
Right.
lot of, and it's so funny that whole over a rock. And I just love the Kevin Garnett aspect. I also loved him, Adam Sandler's Howard Ratner getting a fight with the Weeknd at the club, and then him and Julia are screaming at each other because it's so ridiculous. Because we've all experienced a well, not beating up the Weeknd, but a blow up fight where you're having an argument in front of people. It's not fun. I know you. I see you looking at me because you know because it's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's not
You want
funny, but it's like
you
I
wanted
also
to
like.
fight a whole gang.
Oh my god. I also want to. I also like the at the school play
Mhm.
when that whole scenario of him having to try to dodge those guys and getting stuck in the trunk and his wife has to go bail him out
That's scary
was
though. Like, you look back and you
yeah.
see people there that are knowing that that they're coming for your head, especially at a public function with your kids. Like, that part's pretty scary.
Would you have got up or you think you would have just stayed in public as much as you could?
I would have stayed.
Same. Yeah, there's no way I
Yeah.
would risk getting knifed in the lockers. Like that's what I
No.
thought for sure he was gonna get knifed in the lockers or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are a couple of highlights. What I didn't like, oh, another highlight. I love the score. When the score, it's like a really unique score, but it complements the chaos. It always revs up when things are getting really,
Yeah.
really bad, and I'm just like, I love it. But things I didn't like, I don't really have too much. I don't
'Cause
really
you
have
like
anything.
everything.
Oh my g yeah, I do get accused a lot of that, but nothing really bothered me too much in this. Um, I mean, I think it would have been a little bit. I think I would have wanted, I guess, a little bit more of him trying to be a normal person,
Right.
like a little more conflict. But I really couldn't complain if it, it was like I said, it was a thrill for me. Like I said, I'll never experience this in my life. It's not going to be something I'll ever deal with. Um, but I just love the stressful nature, because like I'll never have to deal with it. That's the fun part about this movie. I can turn it off and be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's you don't
never
got you don't got
go through.
people coming at your door looking
No, no.
for, "Where's the Patrick? He owes me 20 bucks."
So on a scale of 1 to 10, talking
Okay.
about the addiction of his gambling, what would you give his gambling addiction on a scale 1 to 10?
I'd say a 10 because he didn't have money to pay back, and
I
ultimately he got killed for it.
True. I would say if there was a way to go beyond 10, like this is a guy that you had to put in handcuffs when money was given, or like his wife has to handle the money because he's
Yeah.
incapable of doing anything. You know what I mean? And it's I never knew gambling could be this bad. But then my ex-girlfriend, one of my ex-girlfriends, um, her family, I found out, would go to Vegas, and if they didn't have $1,000 to gamble, they would not go or they would not have fun. And I was just like, I do 3 penny slots. I lost. I'm fucking done. No
Yeah.
thank. Not a gambler. I don't know. Well, you do sports betting, right?
Oh, I love it. It's such an adrenaline rush.
Are you willing to do everything, like give up everything for that
No.
thrill?
No. No. The minute so I've never used the minute you start using credit cards for your gambling, that's when you know you need to call that hotline. You can only gamble what you can afford to lose, and I don't lose because 'cause I'm a winner.
Oh, we believe. Yeah, that right there lets me know this guy's a winner. I'm definitely believing that. Um,
Well, because
did this
it
Go ahead.
sorry, go back. As far as the addiction goes, he's sitting there, he can't get off his phone, right? When his
Mhm.
kid's trying to go to bed and he's in the room with him and he's constantly watching the phone, watching the game, that's when you know it gets bad. You know, gambling should be fun. It shouldn't take up your whole world, you know. So that's he should have called the hotline.
Is there a hotline for gambling?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
You
they'll
know,
delete your accounts and shut you off.
you are a father and you are married. How long do you think you can watch a game before your wife tells you to knock that shit off and go say goodnight to your kid?
Oh, she tells me every night.
And
She's
you're like, "Hold on, one more
I'm like,
quarter."
"Hey, let me see this one last pitch." Like, leave me alone.
Yeah,
No,
it's not getting
but
as bad as Howard, though.
yeah, you can't let it get to that point because then obviously it's just you're not there. You're in your own little world, you know? Gambling should be fun. Like, there are times where I play sports bets and I don't look at my phone till the game's over to see if I won or not. And 9 times or 10 times out of 10, I know I'm a winner. So, I don't know what losing's about.
No, I mean, obviously, with Uncut Gems, he's continuously gambling. What point of the movie were you like, "Stop"? Like, you were like, "Okay, this is enough."
Probably probably when I'd say when his wife was getting mad at him for watching the game when his son asked if he can go in there and, help him put him to sleep. That's when I was like, that's enough from a human element of it, because your kids should come first, right? But and then, once everyone's keeps coming up to you asking where the money is, that should be a huge red flags there as well, because it to me, it's like you're broke, you don't have the money, you know? But,
Well,
the kid, that scene, that's when I was like, "That's enough, you need to stop," but it wasn't gonna stop because he owed everybody money at that point still. So, you needed to find a way to get that money or move.
yeah, yeah, no, for me, I knew there was an issue when he went to the place where he placed the bets, and the guy's like, "Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 don't you come over here." I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I
Mm.
think when we heard about the 100,000, that was definitely where I was like, once you hit 100,000, I think we gotta stop." That's when you're like, "Okay, enough."
Or when
Um,
he pawned the Kevin Garnett's ring.
oh, yeah, that was nuts. That's a crazy gamble because that could easily have backfired. And then he also pawned, the club owner's Michael Jackson chain
Yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah.
"I'll come and get it." And then he gave out the fake Rolexes of Damani, the character that had watches there who
Mhm.
brought the NBA players. I'm like, "Dude, nobody should trust him." Like, nobody. And yet he finds a way, you know what I mean? Let me ask you, seriously, do you think you would have loaned Howard money?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Let's say you didn't know. You first met him
No.
and he's like, "Hey, can I get, like, 25 bucks?"
No. I won't even
I don't
lend you money.
That's not true. Oh my god, I got bailed out by you for a lot of things, car issue, oh my god, all kinds of things. But I probably would have loaned him money, but after that, after that one time he screwed me and he just kept making bets, I'd be like, "We're probably not gonna be friends anymore." Actually, true story, we used to get carne asada fries a lot at this place called Alfredo's in Arizona. And one time, my friend Big Sausage, who we mentioned at some points in this episode, and I went down there, and he didn't have enough money, or he it didn't go through on his card. And there was another time where I was missing 10 cents. I'm not even kidding. And the owner would always be like, "All right, man, next time I see you, come and pay me back." And Big Sausage said he went down there the next day and situated out his card, you know.
Yeah.
And I went down there and ordered carne asada fries like 3 days later, and the owner popped out and he was like, "Got my 10 cents, man?" And I gave it to him. I had it ready. And I was like, "Hey, man, thanks." And he's like, "Hey, man, it happens." He goes, "It happens." That's probably why he didn't last as a business. He was too busy being
Yeah.
like, "Come back tomorrow,
Yeah.
pay me," and nobody paid him.
That
But
that place doesn't exist anymore.
now, early on with Uncut Gems, did you think at any point with when you realized he had a gambling addiction, would Howard Ratner rise above it? Like, did you think he could have rised above it, or did you were like, he's for sure succumbing to this problem?
So I didn't know obviously how the end would go, but from watching it probably halfway, I was like, there's no way he can get out of this. Because even the chances of winning a huge bet like he did at the end of the movie is so small that it's it's not realistic to,
Mhm,
you know, to win a bet that big and expect to win. It happens every now and then. Like I see people who do win big bets like that, but how much money did they spend, before winning that big bet? So when I was watching, I was like, "There's no way he's getting out of this," you know. Um, and ultimately, he didn't get out of it, even with the win. Like it was just a ticking time bomb, is what it was. Because when you owe that many people money, not just regular people, like people
mhm.
who come to collect and will do anything to get that money, there's no escaping that.
I agree. I would say when he pawned the ring of Kevin Garnett, I was like, "Oh, this is not gonna end well," because that's crazy gambling. Like, you spend a lot of money is one thing. When you're pawning to get more gambling money, other people's stuff, it never ends well because there's only so much you can do before, like you said, it's gonna go off, and there's no way you can get out of like that. The weekend at the Super Bowl when he's going through that performance where he's looking through all the mirrors. That's what
Yeah.
it's like, Howard Ratner. And during this experience, I realized I didn't like Howard Ratner because I didn't like the way he treated his own family or his friends. It was driving me nuts, especially when one guy, his shirt got ripped. I think he got punched, the guy that worked for him. And Howard's just like, "Oh my God, my rock came in." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, man, I work hard for you, man. Like, I look at my shirt, man. Hey, man, there's other
Yeah.
people that want me." And he's like, he pulls out the rock. He's like, "I'm going to come." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Doesn't care." And then he just walks off. Or like when he was worried about was he gonna end up with his girlfriend or back with his wife, and he's telling his wife like, "Come on, give me another chance," which made me
Mhm.
think of you with the application at
Yeah.
Ultrastar. You know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't really like him, and I halfway through I'm like, this I thought he was gonna make it for like during that last bet. I lost a
Mm.
little bit of my common sense. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna make it," and
Right,
then
right.
yeah, but most of the time I was like, I just wanna see him learn his lesson. Didn't
Well,
expect the hard lesson,
he
but
he he lear he learned it alright.
did you like the behavior of him as a family man, as an owner to his employees and, like, to his work relationships? What did you think of that? The what I
No,
just
no, he's one of those dudes that does what he wants, when he wants, only thinks about himself, doesn't care about anybody else. Um, didn't seem like he really cared about, his family. It was all about betting, it was all about trying to get himself out of the trouble that he got himself in. And if he was a real person here, like someone I would not be friends with.
well, I have a family member who's a narcissist,
Mhm.
and they can never admit they're wrong.
Right.
They and whenever I get to a point where I have to say something, they look for ways to attack me that has nothing to do with what I just said. I was like, "Yo," like, for instance, I'll give you an example. I was like, "Hey, did you take my container?"
Mhm.
They're like, "Well, do you think you're the only one who has Snapware?" And I'm like, "What?"
What?
I was like, "You just tried to give my container to somebody else." And they're like, "But they let me use the food. They brought me food." I said, "But that's mine." They're like, "Yeah, but, you didn't do this that I
Right.
asked the other day." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Shut up already and give me back my container." Like,
Yeah.
why can't you just say you're sorry? Why didn't do anything wrong?
Yeah.
Gotta go. It's like
It's like,
and so yeah.
just admit it and move on. Like, "My
Yeah.
bad, dog. I took it," you know?
Yeah, let me tell you, in life, you and I should know this better than with life experience. Just saying you're sorry or admitting you're wrong will save you so much hassle and stress in your life if you just own up to your own mistakes. Don't take extra. I did that and that did not work out well. But
We know.
y- yeah, we know. All right. Well, we talked about Adam Sandler real quick to wrap this up. With Uncut Gems, would you have given that any nominations during award season? I f-
Uh, I don't think it was Oscar worthy. It may have been, Golden Globe worthy, or one of those other smaller awards. I'm
the
forgetting right
SAG.
now. There you go. Yeah, the SAG Awards. But
BAFTAs.
yeah, I don't think it was Oscar worthy. No. I mean, do you want to go down the list of would it replace it?
Yeah, and I'll see if I can name one that would take its place. Or take one off and add this. Here we go. This should be good. Look
All
at you
right, let
being
me.
prepared. I love this.
Dude, that's what I do, baby. I do research.
We know. You're like no Ryan Reynolds like bashing Ryan Reynolds. You did your research. I'm proud of you.
All right, you ready for this?
Yes.
Who would you replace this with? All right. Uh, maybe. All right. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No.
I wouldn't. 1917.
No.
I wouldn't. Marriage Story. Mm,
No. I love that.
mm,
That's my life.
yeah. Little Woman.
Oh, that was that same year? No. No.
You can make the argument.
No,
Uh,
that's
Joker. I
no.
I wouldn't. Jojo Rabbit.
Yes. Actually, I would rather
Y-
watch
y-
Uncut Gems than Jojo Rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is actually true because I remember liking it but not loving it. Where this one I loved it. You know what I mean?
The Irishman.
No. No, hell no. I love that. I watch that all the time.
Ford versus Ferrari.
No. Look at you. I saw you. I saw you because you're like James Mangold, right? Yeah, I saw you looking at me like, let's see what this guy's really about. No, I love that movie. That's a good movie.
And then the winner was 2020.
Who was the winner? I don't remember.
It's not American.
American. I don't remember. I don't know. Wait, what
Parasite.
was the name? Oh, yeah, yeah. No, no. I forgot that was there was one more. I was like, what was it? No, I love Parasite. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I will defend that movie. Absolutely not. So Jojo Rabbit, yeah, that can go. It's not a
Okay.
bad movie. It's just I prefer Uncut Gems. If
So
that was it. Yeah.
you you uh you can sell me on Jojo Rabbit being replaced by Uncut Gems.
I said
Uh
no to every other one.
it's a hard sell, but you can sell me on that.
Now, this is what I'm really excited about because we're about to wrap this up fully. Out of 100%, what would you rate Uncut Gems?
Okay, so do you want to let's backtrack a little bit here.
Because I know it's gonna be controversial, and I love it.
Nah,
But
not
that's we
really.
all have different tastes, though. You know, for a guy who's extremely funny, by the way, it's funny that you don't like comedy and you don't find many things funny. Let me tell you, Ray's one of the funniest people I've ever met. So I never understood why he was like this.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Was I
So
funny?
on Yeah, you're all right.
That's what I want to hear.
Okay, so I know you're not a huge fan of Rotten Tomatoes, but
Not even.
I love Rotten Tomatoes. I Their critics align with my, you know, with
Mm,
my liking. Uncut Gems. Okay, so the critics gave it altogether, obviously. So it's a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay.
mm.
The fans, the popcorn meter is at a 52%. Okay.
Whoa.
Fans did not like it as much as the critics. Okay. Now, I'm in the middle. I don't think it should be as high as 91, but not as low as 52, okay? So I liked it
Mm.
more than the average person who saw it. I would say out of 100%, 100 being A, right? And
Mm.
anything below 50 or anything below 60 is an F, right? I would give it a probably about a 72, 73%. It was a solid C. I think it could have been better, you know? Like I said, the everyone yelling over each other. I know it's a bunch of New Yorkers. That's how they talk. That's how they are. I've had coworkers who are from New York. That's just how they are. They're loud. That part really does bother me because I'm just like, dude, there's so much going on. Like, who am I listening to? Who am I watching right now? Everyone's talking at once, you know. Uh, but it was a decent film. Wasn't the greatest I've ever seen. You know. I
Mm.
mean, if you want me to, if you want a hot take, I think you want to know what movie's better than this one?
Please.
The first Transformers is better than this.
Go.
um, I don't know. North by Northwest is better than this.
Okay, that one that's a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, your favorite movie, Hancock's better than this.
That's I am not that big of a Hancock fan, but he loves to use that against me because I made him wa we saw it together, right? That's why?
Yeah, you forced me to go.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't
Yeah, you
that those
did. You were like, if you don't go with
no,
me,
no.
we're not friends anymore. And I was like, okay, I'm
No, I
sorry.
didn't say that. We went together, but I would not agree that
Okay, so
Hancock
Hancock is a little much, but I just the movie's okay. It's not the greatest. I gave it a solid C, 72, 73%. Could have been better if they would have asked for my opinions and suggestions in the writing process. I would have probably made it a little bit better.
that the Safdie brothers would have benefited from your contributions to Uncut Gems,
Oh,
'cause
absolutely. I think
no.
any movie would benefit from my writing and my ideas, like
You know
Casablanca.
no. You know we didn't even finish our script, so what are you talking about?
It takes time. It takes time.
Guy's over here thinking he's Terrence Malick's gonna put out a movie he's never done before 20
I'm a
years later. It's
perfectionist.
so I would rate Uncut Gems 88% for myself. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
love the
know.
kid.
I
Oh,
mean, well, to be fair, you like everything, but an 88 is, I say it's a little high. I just think it could be better. It could have been better.
but I love that chaotic nature. I love the screaming over the screaming because if he didn't constantly escape, I would be like, okay, this is outrageous. But it just seemingly adds on to the stress, anxiety, the pressure, and then it's a very engaging movie. I love watching it. I don't watch it as much as I would like to because it stresses me out, but I love it. And then once I come down, I'm like, that was good. Plus Adam Sandler, man, like you said earlier, if he could have just done this more often, I'd love to
Sooner.
see it. Yeah, like do another one. But 52% you said of the popcorn meter, whatever it was on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes.
the popcorn meter.
Shock
That's for fans.
is that shocking?
No, I don't think so. Because that movie's not for everyone.
That's that's what I'm thinking. I think people will come for Adam Sandler and they might expect some comedic performance. I also think that like you highlight the screaming and the anxiety and the chaos isn't when you take out those when you put those two factors together, a lot of people aren't going to like it. But I think the ending is what really sells that 52%. People don't want him to die. I think that's what it comes down to.
I mean, who cares? He deserved it.
Look at this guy thinks he's Harrison Ford. Like, do you
Mm,
think Han or Greedo shot first? And you're like, I don't care.
I don't care. I
Well,
don't know. It's not a movie for everybody. So I understand why the critics would like it more than the actual fans. I think some fans went in not even knowing what the movie was about. They just saw Adam Sandler and they're like, Let's go watch it.
True. Now, would you ever own this or rewatch it?
No, no. I mean, if it's on regular TV, I might pop it in or pop it on. But it's not something I would go out of my way to buy a physical media of and just rewatch it.
I'll
It's
be
I
buying.
I know you, yeah, you buy everything, but anyways, I have to really love a movie for me to buy it. The last movie I bought was The Batman. That's how, I mean, I have to really love something to buy it.
Yeah. This wraps up Uncut Gems and the episode. And this gentleman here needs to go back and be a productive father, and he has to go to work. So, Ray, is there anything else you would like to say? I don't know if you're going to share where to follow you because you don't really
Yeah,
talk about.
I want
Oh,
everyone to follow me. I have the best Twitter in the world. I still call it Twitter. I know kids today call it X, but it's still Twitter. At Ray Being Ray, RayBeingRay. Follow me there. You can add me on the PlayStation Network if you want to. We can play some games together.
so Ray had to leave early, and we thank him for being on Tomorrow Comes Movies. But this is the end of the episode. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in to our first episode, which technically isn't the first episode. And if you liked what you heard, specifically more me than Ray, and you would like to check out more, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Amazon, iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, and should be on YouTube in a video format as well. So, yeah, definitely follow the show. And the goal is to have weekly episodes. And what else? What else? What else? Yes, once again, if anybody would like to come on the show, you're always welcome to come on the show. If I haven't reached out already, please reach out to me. And as I said before, if you're not comfortable being on camera, you can just let me know and we'll just release the audio version. But remember, when we record, it will be recorded in both audio and video just so we can see each other. If you would like to follow us on social media, you can follow Tomorrow Comes Movies on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at TOCMovies, Blue Sky as well. And that's it. I am the Patrick. Until next time, stay tuned for another episode of Tomorrow Comes Movies.